In this video short, I'm going to talk a little bit about the periodic table and essentially just how it's kind of laid out. This is an image of the periodic table from your book, and as you can see, it's most elements on the periodic table are either classified as metals, which are green, and they're kind of all chunked together. Non-metals, which are on the far right side, so these are non-metals, and then you've got that mixture that these few elements that kind of come in between the non-metals and the metals, which are called metalloids. So they have some metallic-like properties and some non-metallic-like properties. But just in general, knowing that the right upper quadrant, not even quadrant, but part of the periodic table are the non-metals. And then the majority of the periodic table, those are considered metals. And then this small strip of elements in between the two are the metalloid compounds. Okay. The periodic table can further be divided into groups and periods. So groups are actually vertical. All right. Oh, let me get my pen function here. All right. So groups are vertical. So groups go down. Right. All right, so this would be group 1, that's group 2. Actually, and then it's a little weird. So this is group 1A, that's group 2A. This is group 3B, but if you jump way over here, this is actually group 3A, okay? Then there's 4A, 4B, 5A, 5B, 6A, 6B, 7A, 7B, 8A, 8B, 9B, 10B, 11B, 12B. Okay. Normally, the B, so everything in B, this area is these purples. These are called the transition metals. So we can find things like copper, zinc. Here's silver. Ag is silver. Au is gold. How do you know the difference between the two? Say, Au, I found some gold. Ah, gee, it's only silver. So that's the difference between gold and silver. What else can you find in our transition metals? Cobalt, iron, Fe. Those are maybe, well, those are probably the ones that you would know. Some of these I've never used, I've never even needed to use. So even me being in chemistry for 15 years plus, I haven't used all the elements on the periodic table. Okay, then let's see, we've got in this very first group right here, this group is called the alkali metals. They're called alkali metals. Alkali means basic because if you were actually to take a solid piece of sodium metal and put it in water, it would react violently and it would create a basic solution. So those are alkali metals. So the orange are called alkali metals. And then you've got the alkaline earth metals. Okay, they kind of do that, they do something a little bit similar, but it's not as dramatic. Remember, then we had our transition metals, okay, and then over here, these are others, they're not really classified, right? We've got that blue right here, this is our metalloid compounds. And then if we look at our non-metals, that would have been this whole area over here, that's the gray, this cyan blue, and this pink, those were all non-metals. They're actually, that far whole column on the periodic table, these are the noble gases. Here's our friend helium. Helium is a noble gas, what we fill balloons with. Then neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon. Radon's actually radioactive, but these other ones can be found in a lot of the neon signs that you see, okay? So these are the noble gases. The next column over, these are called the halogens. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Those are the go-to halogens. Let's see. And then here in our other non-metal areas, you see carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, potassium, sorry, phosphate, phosphorus, geez Louise, phosphorus, sulfur, selenium. Okay, potassium actually is over here, it's letter K. That's in our alkali metals. Alkali metals, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, alkaline earth metals, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, barium, those are the big ones. And then down here in this little group of elements that is kind of offset, these are the lanthanide series and the actinide series. Okay, down here in the actinide, you can find uranium. Ooh. that is atomic. And some of these names are very, very, very fun. Like Einsteinium is somewhere down here. They don't have the big drawn out names. There's Berkelium, it's found at Berkeley. Americurium. Just fun names down there. Sorry, that's the name game area. But okay, so in summary, so groups are in the long columns, right? And then we also have periods. So periods run in the rows. So this is period 1, which is hydrogen and helium. Period 2, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. Period 3, period 4. So things within groups tend to have similar characteristics, and also things within periods tend to have similar characteristics, but the group characteristics usually outweighs the period characteristics. In periods, you tend to find more trends of things. Okay. All right. So, one fun thing about this picture up here. So hydrogen and some of these other ones, hydrogen is like, it's always in its own world. Like you sometimes talk about the family of a family of elements. So all these alkali metals will be a family of elements. Hydrogen is just super unique, and it doesn't, even though it's colored pink and is in non-metals, it doesn't really share a lot of the same characteristics as anybody else in the periodic table. I mean, it's also element 1, and next short we'll talk about what that means, but it's the very first element. It's the most basic element. So there's this joke we have up here in the hallway, and it says, when hydrogen got arrested, the police told him he could make a call, but he replied, call who? I don't have a family. Chemistry jokes. Chemistry jokes. Don't worry, I'll only insert them periodically. All right, that concludes my video short about the elements or the periodic table.